4 armed men in police uniforms surrounded my house at dawn. Their voices thundered down the street demanding my wife come out, claiming they had a warrant for her arrest. But when Sarah walked out wearing her real detective uniform, those tough guys froze like they'd just seen a ghost. And in that split second, I realized someone in our neighborhood wanted us destroyed. Act 1. The conflict begins. My name's Michael Thompson. I'm just a regular IT guy, the kind who works long hours, comes home to mow the lawn, maybe grills on weekends. My wife, Sarah. She's a detective with the Metro Police Department. Sharp, calm, the kind of woman who could stare down a storm without flinching. We'd lived in this quiet Madison County neighborhood for 3 years. The biggest drama we ever had was Karen Wells, our HOA vice president, who liked to push her community standards on everyone, measuring grass, writing passive-aggressive notes about paint colors, showing up with that bright smile that somehow felt more like surveillance than kindness. But that Monday morning, things turned terrifying. I was lacing up for work when 4 guys in uniforms fanned out across our yard with military precision. One avoided the doorbell camera, another positioned himself exactly where our motion sensor doesn't reach, and a third slipped to the side gate with the broken lock I kept forgetting to fix. How the hell did they know that? "Police! We have a warrant for Sarah Thompson," the leader barked, voice booming through the street. Curtains snapped shut. Neighbors peeked out. My heart dropped. Sarah. My Sarah had never even had a speeding ticket, and now strangers wanted to drag her out in cuffs. Through the peephole, everything looked official: badges, radios, clipboards. But their choreography was too perfect, too rehearsed. And then I saw the paperwork. Jefferson County Code. We live in Madison. That warrant was fake. Still, my hands trembled. What if I was wrong? What if there was some nightmare mistake in the system? And then Sarah's voice floated down from upstairs. Casual, completely unaware. "Michael, what's going on down there?" I barely got the words out. "They say they have a warrant for you." The fake cops stiffened hands, brushing their holsters, waiting for her. But when she stepped into view, badge shining, belt-loaded radio crackling with real dispatch chatter, their confidence cracked. "I'm Detective Sarah Thompson, Metro Police Department badge, 1247, she said, steady as stone. "You're claiming arrest authority over a sworn law enforcement officer." Their clipboard shook. One even stepped back. And when Sarah keyed her radio and dispatch confirmed, "No warrants for Detective Thompson." The look on their faces told me everything. They weren't cops. They were predators playing dress-up with forged paperwork and insider knowledge of our home. And the only question burning in my head was, who in our neighborhood knew us this well? Act 2. Escalation and turning point. Detective Smith arrived the next day. Older guy, Latino, steady voice that made me feel like for once someone actually understood how insane this was. He laid crime scene photos on our kitchen table, detailed diagrams of our house, furniture placement, electrical outlets, even the location of the safe in our bedroom. "Mr. Thompson," he said, "this isn't random. This was created by someone with regular access to your home, someone you know and trust." My blood ran cold. That's when Tom Miller, our neighbor, knocked on the door. Retired engineer, quiet, always fiddling with security cameras. He had a manila folder full of screenshots and notes. "Michael, you need to see this," he said. "Karen's been accessing houses when people aren't home. She calls it HOA, Emergency Inspections for Insurance Compliance." I flipped through the records. Timestamps, durations, weather notes. And then Tom said the kicker: she had keys to most of the houses on the block. I wanted to deny it. Karen had always been overbearing, sure, but criminal, no way. But then came the detail that nailed it. Forensics on the fake warrant papers found traces of flour mixed with vanilla extract. That same afternoon, Karen showed up with her famous cookies, grinning like nothing had happened. "These are fresh from my kitchen, Michael," she beamed. "I only use cake flour and pure vanilla. Makes all the difference, don't you think?" My stomach turned. She'd just described the exact mix found on the documents. Coincidence or confession wrapped in sugar? And here's where it broke me. That night I sat alone on the couch staring at the evidence piled around me, and I thought, maybe I'm the crazy one. Maybe Karen really is just a nosy neighbor who bakes too much. Maybe Sarah's a detective, but I'm just some paranoid IT guy connecting dots that aren't there. For the first time, I wanted to give up. Walk away. Let someone else figure it out. But then I looked at Sarah, calm, disciplined, already mapping out the next steps, and I realized if I checked out now, Karen would win. She'd keep infiltrating, keep documenting, keep tearing families apart. And that thought lit a fire in me I didn't know I had. So I decided, no more doubting. We were going to expose her. And fate didn't waste time. 2 nights later, the fake cops came back. Different guys, same uniforms. But this time, Sarah was ready. Body cam rolling backup protocols in place, every move documented. Tom was filming from across the street. Mrs. Patterson was live streaming from her porch. Even teenagers had their phones out. When Sarah demanded badge numbers and supervisor contacts, they stuttered. When dispatch confirmed again that no warrants existed, the crowd started cheering. And when real officers rolled in to cuff the imposters, Karen was across the yard scribbling notes furiously. Why would a normal neighbor need to know exactly how backup was dispatched? That's when the whole neighborhood turned. Stories came pouring out. Karen had pressured families for schedules, vacations, alarm codes. She'd even asked old Mr. Henderson about his doctor appointments. Detective Smith pieced it all together. Karen wasn't just nosy. She was building detailed intelligence weaknesses, routines, vulnerabilities. Not for community safety, for leverage. And when we finally searched her house, my God, filing cabinets stuffed with profiles, master keys labeled with addresses, charts, logs, photos of private spaces, family bedrooms, medicine bottles, alarm panels. She had been inside our homes documenting our lives like we were inventory. And in the center, a binder marked Emergency Access Protocol. Bureaucratic jargon masking what it really was, a manual for systematic intrusion. That's when the bigger bomb dropped. Emails linking Karen's work to Riverside Development Group. Corporate language about residential acquisition timelines, below-market sales, and transition coordination. Karen wasn't just snooping. She was running an operation, harass families, depress property values and cash commissions when they sold cheap. And she was making thousands for every house. Now tell me, how do you even process that your cookie-baking neighbor is actually a corporate spy dismantling your community? Act 3. The Showdown in Justice. 1 week later, Karen showed up at our door, hair disheveled, eyes blazing. No clipboard this time. No cookies. "Michael, Sarah, we need to talk," she snapped. "You've destroyed everything I built. 2 years of work gone. Do you understand what you've done?" Sarah hit record on her phone. I dialed Detective Smith on speed dial. Karen's voice cracked between fury and desperation. "I improved this neighborhood. I removed problem families. I raised property values. I created opportunities. And you ruined it." Tom stepped out from next door, calm as ever, holding a folder. "Karen, you terrorized 47 families for commissions. You spied, you impersonated authority, you worked with criminals. That's not community development, that's organized crime." Karen's mask slipped completely. "You're all too stupid to understand real estate," she screamed. "I had contracts with Riverside. I was going to transform this neighborhood into something profitable. And you ignorant people ruined it." Her words, spilled in rage, were her undoing. Sarah didn't flinch. She simply said, "Karen Wells, you're wanted for real estate fraud, harassment, unauthorized property access, and conspiracy. Surrender now." Moments later, Detective Smith and real backup cars swarmed the street. Neighbors stood outside, phones raised, recording as Karen was cuffed. She tried one last bluff, yelling, "You think this ends with me? Riverside has contracts with 6 more neighborhoods. I'm just one acquisition specialist. You can't stop this machine." But her wrists were already locked in steel. And just like that, the woman who handed out cookies every Tuesday was exposed as the criminal mastermind who tried to dismantle our lives. Ending message. When someone you trust uses power to manipulate and destroy, the only real defense is truth and the courage to stand together. So tell me, have you ever had a neighbor who seemed a little too interested in your life? Drop your red flags in the comments. I'm curious what signs you'd never ignore again.